A suspected storage unit burglar back in Scottsbluff County District Court. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, a 38-year-old Scottsbluff woman has been arraigned in district court on charges stemming from a February break-in at a storage unit. Jessica Perez was taken into custody after officers received a report about a woman casing storage units on the western edge of town and found her inside one of the units. Further investigation revealed that the lock to that unit and another had been cut off, and she's now facing felony charges of burglary, possession of burglar's tools, and possession of a controlled substance. She's pleaded not guilty to the trio of charges, and a July 16th pretrial hearing date has been set. Well, an Alliance man who was arrested following a December 26th incident where he attempted to stab a person has been sentenced in Box Butte County District Court. Police say 31-year-old George King was trying to force his way into a home while armed with a knife, and the victim said King did try to stab one of the residents inside and threatened to kill them. Earlier this year, he ultimately pleaded no contest to an amended charge of attempted second-degree assault, and the remaining counts were dismissed. Last week in Box Butte County District Court, he was sentenced to 180 days in jail and 9 months of post-release supervision on the conviction of the Class 3A felony. And a Scottsbluff man has been cited for his role in causing a 3-vehicle crash Thursday afternoon at the intersection of Highway 26th and 20th Street. Police say 49-year-old Brian Livingston of Scottsbluff was at the stop sign at the intersection and failed to yield to an eastbound Ford Expedition, with the two vehicles colliding in the eastbound lanes and causing the Expedition to veer south and strike the stop sign and a Cadillac that had been traveling behind Livingston's vehicle. Scottsbluff police say one occupant was transported by Regional West Ambulance for treatment of a minor neck injury. The intersection was closed for about 45 minutes as all three vehicles had to be towed from the scene, and Livingston was issued a citation for failure to yield. We'll have more news right after this.
Whether you're gardening, searching for the perfect vacation home, or planning your next travel destination, your life is just as unique. Your Raymond James financial advisors, Jody Rosiska and Kevin Figg, get to know you, your passions, and your vision for the future, so you can live your life. That's life well planned.
When it comes to your health, you deserve the very best. At Morrill County Community Hospital, they provide top-notch care with compassion and expertise. From routine checkups to advanced surgeries, their dedicated team is here for you 24/7. With state-of-the-art technology and a patient-first approach, they ensure you and your loved ones receive the highest quality care. Because at Morrill County Community Hospital, your health is their priority. Visit Morrill County Community Hospital today in Bridgeport. Morrill County Community Hospital. Exceptional care right here at home.
Welcome to Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. Whether you're a wine enthusiast, a whiskey sommelier, a tequila connoisseur, or you just love your beer, Kelly's has the best selection of what you're looking for. Family owned and operated since 1946 and right on 27th Street in Scottsbluff. Come see us today at Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. And remember to be a good neighbor. Don't drink and drive. Kelly's Liquor, West 27th Street in Scottsbluff.
Welcome back. Kearney's police chief has been announced as the next superintendent of the Nebraska State Patrol. During a news conference Thursday afternoon, Governor Jim Pillen said that 30-year law enforcement veteran Brian Waugh will take over the role on June 2nd. Waugh said he was humbled, proud, and honored to be selected, and his goals will be simple.
We will honor the past, we will live the present, and we will reimagine our future together. I will lead with humility, authenticity, compassion, and confidence. I will listen, observe, and communicate with a genuine interest and set realistic goals with public safety as our top priority. I will work daily to maintain, build, strengthen, and cultivate lasting professional relationships with our staff, communities, businesses, colleagues, allied partners across the entire state.
Retiring Superintendent Colonel John Bolduc told reporters it's been an honor and a privilege to be part of a rich period of advancement for the Nebraska State Patrol that will continue under WA. Pillen said out of numerous applications vetted by the selection committee, 4 finalists were interviewed and WA's name rose to the top. Well, the governor has revised a burn ban to allow fire chiefs discretion in granting burn permits to irrigation districts so they can continue to clear vegetation from ditches. Under the requirements of the new executive order, burning is only permitted within the boundaries of a surface water irrigation canal owned, titled to, or operated by an irrigation district, and allowed burns must be supervised on site by the permitting authority. Other than that exception, burning remains off limits in central and western Nebraska until midnight of May 10th.
I imagined retirement in a place where we could enjoy our golden years, where adventure and friendship are the only items on the schedule. The Garden Homes at Northfield gives us the luxury we planned for and peace of mind when it comes to convenience, safety, and comfort. We never have to stop and think about the day-to-day upkeep. We love to explore abroad, but most importantly in our backyard. So much to do, so much to see. Here at Northfield, we get the protection of life care, incredible tax benefits, and secured rates for aging services. It's peaceful, knowing that if our needs change, we'll be taken care of. And most importantly, that our kids will never have to make any tough decisions. There never seemed to be enough time to do all the things we wanted. Now we get to focus our energy on enjoying what this community has to offer. At the Garden Homes, life is ours again. A place we had dreamed about. A chance to focus on us.
Fly United Airlines, operated by SkyWest with Western Nebraska Regional Airport. United is dedicated to going the extra mile for you with daily flights to and from Denver, along with a commitment to excellent service. Reserve your flight today, and remember, United miles can be earned and redeemed with your flights. While at the airport, stop and enjoy authentic Italian food at Roma Italian Restaurant. Plus, Hertz Thrifty Car Rental is there for your car rental needs. Make life easier, relax, and get on board with Western Nebraska Regional Airport.
Daryl Peel, Extension Livestock Marketing Specialist at Oklahoma State University, joins us now. Daryl, cattle markets have been on a relentless climb this spring, fueled by tight supplies, strong beef demand, and a lot of questions about what is next. And that's where I want to head with our conversation, not only here in the short term, but also in the long term. Let's start here, Daryl. From a supply and demand standpoint, what do you think is the biggest driver behind this strength right now, and realistically, how long can we have this last?
Yeah, you know, without a doubt, the main driver in this situation right now is the supply side. You know, the big picture is, of course, we've got cow numbers at multi-decade lows. We're smaller than we intended to be, and the market is trying to, you know, position or provide incentives, if you will, for producers to rebuild, and that speaks then to, so, you know, that speaks to where we're going to go from here and so on, and that is that we have very little indication yet that we've even started that process of herd rebuilding. We got to save some heifers. That heifer retention will come at the expense of feeder supplies, which are already tight. So all of that speaks to the idea that even though these markets are remarkably strong, they've continued to move higher, we still have some strength ahead of us as we squeeze supplies and ultimately beef production down here for an extended period of time.
I think it was back in February, Daryl, you wrote about that process of rebuilding the beef cow herd, some of the challenges that come along with that, as you just referenced. But why do you think we are slow at this point here in 2025's version of the cattle markets to rebuild that herd based on the data we've seen coming out from USDA?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of factors. It's not just one thing. It's really, you know, the culmination of a whole list of things. Obviously, drought is what got us here, and lingering drought threats has been one of the reasons producers have been pretty cautious, pretty slow to be aggressive about trying to restock. And then when you throw onto that some financial considerations, obviously we've got a fairly expensive process here in terms of interest rates and where we're at with prices these days. So producers are taking it cautiously, bankers are taking it cautiously. And then, you know, there's other things. There's the age demographics of producers, which implies that a lot of these guys are probably thinking about transition at this point. And so when you put all that together, it spells out a fairly slow process that's really in pretty big contrast to what happened about a decade ago when we came out of the low in 2014.
Good point. Well, as you and I are sitting here middle of the week having our conversation on Wednesday, there's a couple of factors out there influencing the cattle market. One of them has to do with Mexico and the New World Screwworm. Over the weekend, Ag Secretary Brooke Rollins came out with an announcement on there, kind of tightening the screw a little bit on Mexico, calling for them to act on what Rollins would like to see. Do you think this news, if we do see feeder cattle imports being limited again, could that impact prices here in the U.S.?
Well, certainly, you know, in the big picture, any reduction in supplies is going to be a positive factor from the standpoint of tight supplies. I don't think it's enough numbers that we would really be able to detect a lot of impact. Obviously, it would depend on how long it lasts as well. But, you know, the numbers we're talking about here, and even in general, the numbers of cattle we get from Mexico are not, you know, huge numbers. If it went on for a whole year, that would be enough to have an impact. But if it's just a few weeks, which it probably would be, then I wouldn't expect that by itself to be a major market mover.
I want to squeeze in a viewer question we got in over the weekend as well, Daryl. They were asking about the price for cull cattle. Have you been able to track any metrics on that front?
Yeah, in fact, these cull cow prices are just phenomenal. In Oklahoma, for example, the last week, you know, average kind of boning cull cows were bringing very close to $1.50 a pound. The breaking cows, the younger cows that would be, you know, a little fleshier and dress a little better, some of them were bringing up, I think it was $1.54 or 58. So we're seeing extremely strong prices for these cull cows. You multiply that out times the weight of these cows, we're talking $2,000 for a cull cow at this point.
It's hard to wrap my mind around, that's for sure,
It is.
Daryl. Before I let you go, besides drought, what else could slow the herd rebuilding process over the next 2-3 years?
Well, you know, I mean, right now we're just dealing with a lot of broad-based uncertainty in the general economy. There's a lot of political stuff flying around. And that uncertainty is affecting many markets, virtually all markets at this point. That's not really changing the overall cattle market trajectory, if you will, at this point. If it were to turn worse in terms of a macroeconomic issue, that would be a problem. But other than that, I think it's a slow grind. Now, we do have some slight indications that maybe we're beginning some heifer retention. The only real data we have at this point was the April cattle on feed report contained a quarterly breakdown of steers and heifers on feed, and that showed heifers as a percentage of the on-feed inventory to be the lowest in about 5 years. So maybe that thing's beginning to come down. It's not at a level yet that would confirm that we're retaining heifers and rebuilding the herd, but we're moving in the right direction. And of course, cow culling has also been dropping the last year or so. So if those two things move in the same direction and kind of reinforce each other, we might begin the process of herd rebuilding maybe later in the year.
We'll keep an eye on that. I teased that was going to be my last question a second ago, but I thought of another one I wanted to get to, Daryl. Obviously, I'm joining you from Nebraska right now, May 1st to May 10th, as we proceed through the month, is kind of what folks will think about turning out to their summer pastures. Give me an update on how that is going down in Oklahoma, as well as your drought situation.
Yeah, I tell you what, April turned out to be a very wet month in Oklahoma. We've had continuous rains, or several rounds of rains, I should say, that have been extremely beneficial. So, you know, we're off to a really good start at this point for pasture and hay production. And that's great news, because if you get April and May and June, then even if it turns dry later in the summer, as it often does, even without a pronounced drought, you can kind of get through that if you've made forage early in the year. So I would say at this point, we're in pretty good shape.
Daryl, great to visit with you. Thanks for joining us here on Market
You
Journal.
bet. Happy to be here.
Military, first responders, teachers, Renewal by Anderson is offering a heartfelt thank you with its first ever appreciation sale. 20% off every window and door, no money down, no interest, and no payments for 18 months. Plus an additional 9% off if purchased on the initial consultation. That's 29% off. Military, first responders, teachers, this is a limited time offer, so do not wait. Please book your free estimate right now at rbawyoming.com.
You deserve to have a building that will last for generations. With more than 110 years of experience and thousands of satisfied customers, Morton Buildings is the industry leader you can trust. If you're planning for a garage, farm shop, horse barn, storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, there's no better time to buy. Contact your local Morton sales office or visit mortonbuildings.com to get started today.
Let's take a peek at your weekend community calendar brought to you by Riverstone Bank. The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. We're local and we love our community.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you take advantage of every adventure. We know you have plans, goals, and dreams. Let us help you with them. Whether it is building, buying, or renovating, we have the home loan or home equity line of credit to fit your needs. Stop in and see us at Platte Valley Bank and let us help make your dreams a reality. You belong here. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And finally tonight, a Scottsbluff-based trucking company and service dealership has announced an expansion of their locations. Floyd's Truck Center has acquired Freightliner and Western Star dealership, Nebraska Truck Center, adding their Grand Island, Hastings, and North Platte locations to the existing Floyd's locations in Scottsbluff and Sidney. Company officials say the Nebraska shops, 4 locations in Wyoming, 2 in South Dakota, and 1 in Montana, will allow them even greater access to quality parts, trucks, and service to provide customers reliable support through the region. VP of Sales Michael Gillum said the talented employees at NTC have built strong relationships with their customers, and Floyd's is thrilled they'll remain part of the organization. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend. We'll see you here next time.